y'all, Kimmy the Dark Lady, back with another video. And today I just want to sit and build with you guys on Saturn and its influence in the world, in the economic system, as well as religion. I definitely want you to look at what I'm saying to you guys from a non-Christian point of view, because if you look at it from a religious perspective, you're going to lose yourself, and therefore you won't learn anything. You'll just, stay trapped in a box. And my whole objective here is to remove that veil, so that we can dispel ignorance, so that we can break the spell that's been cast on us. And in order to perfectly break a spell that was cast on us, we need to find out, well, how was it put on us in the first place? And when I tell you a doozy was done on us, it was done perfectly. And it took time, it took years, and it took Saturn, basically, just off of my observance of the world, years of studying different mythologies and, just different sciences that got me to the understanding on the occult level. And thinking on the occult level means that you're thinking without your emotions, you're thinking without your passions, you're thinking without a religious standpoint. And this is the main objective of why I wanted to, present this video to you guys. So, we must definitely have a clear understanding that when the limbic system is aroused, it begins to become emotional stress, the problem solving, the involuntary control of your self-awareness, your functions of your cortex is basically being suppressed when we're dealing with this energy. So now we need to understand what is going on here to further remove this veil, and this veil is ignorance, pure ignorance. And, when you look at these entities from a a Christian point of view, everything is Satan, everything is bad, everything is this, every fear this and fear that, and we have to break away from that, So we need to understand the laws of duality, and going into the laws of duality, the Baphomet is really like a great depiction of duality of masculine, feminine, dark, light, as above, so below, yin, yang, hot, cold. However you want to bring the duality, now we have to bring it into oneness. And in order for us to protect ourselves in this school of thought, or just in our spiritual journey, to free ourselves from years of mental slavery, we are going to have to take and use a lot of the same strategies that were used to have us in this state of mind of degenerating in the first place. Dealing with like different systems, that divide families. You have to go into like the court system, and they definitely did a number. There's Saturn energy in the court system, with dealing with foster care, with dealing with family court, period, criminal court. All these things are an attack on the limbic system. And the limbic system is a suppression of your cortex. And I want you guys to write it down, look it up. I don't want to tell everybody everything, because in more videos to come, I'm going to slowly break things down so people can understand. But just dealing with, like the criminal court system or the penal system, going to jail, going to prison, you have to question, why is religion in that particular system? If it's there to imprison you, enslave you, why would they give you religion to redeem you? Like, which one is going to be? Is it to redeem you, or is it to keep you trapped in a box? Religion is a box. Spirituality is seeing the big picture. Religion is masculine, spirituality is feminine. So we have divided ourselves and corrupted our own understanding by, just delving into things without fully doing the research. You know, but when it really boils down to it, we have to understand that masculine, like religion, is geared by straight patriarchy. When you go into uh, religion, like when like the basis of its worship is governed by Saturn. You know what I'm saying? So those so-called powers that be that's governing the world are using Saturn energy, and it's clear. You have Judaism, you have Christianity, you have Islam. And they all have their knowledge actually derived from Hinduism. They all focus on the Holy Trinity, which is in Hinduism. You have Brahman, Vishnu, Shiva, and then you have the Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost. When it comes to Christianity, when you go into Greek mythology, you have Isis, Osiris, and Horus, and then you have Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. But at the end of the day, none of these characters are real. So we have to question, like, what God are we serving? Like, what are we doing? To be in a system that took the woman out of the situation. But as far as symbolism, like, there's so much symbolism when you step outside of your house. You can see the Saturn influence. Like, if you're going to a family member's graduation, you can see Saturn in, like the graduation hat square with the tassel. Okay, now when you look at Saturn, Saturn has this symbol within a planet that's a pentagram, and you also have that square, that cube. So let's look at Islam for a second. When you look at Islam and you see them, doing their chants around that the Kaaba, that's an energy taking place. It's very powerful. It's very strong. It's very it's like you're channeling. It's like you're opening up a portal, because if you look at the alignment of the Kaaba, it's directly pointed to that Saturn. You know what I'm saying? So you will see a lot of symbolism of Saturn in Islam. That's just one of the brief examples as far as Islam. When it comes to like Judaism, and then you have the six-pointed Star of David. If you look at the six-pointed Star of David, what's in the middle of the six-pointed star? It's a pentagram. And a lot of people don't know, unless you are an occultist or if you do practice magic. A lot of people don't know that that pentagram itself, the six-pointed star or the five-pointed star can be used as a portal. And what they do in that particular religion, they stand inside of that star or in the pentagram, and they can recite incantations, and send energy up. And what goes up must come back down. Hence, that energy being made manifest as whatever their intentions were. So we can't sit around and call magic evil. You know what I'm saying? It's the intent of the person or the magician who is utilizing the magic is what makes it evil or whatever. So my thing is, why not take that same energy? Like I explained the Baphomet, because the Baphomet deals with duality. And we have to understand that we are duality. Within this flesh, we are masculine, we are feminine in one body. Some of us may be a little more masculine or feminine than others. So we have to definitely delve deep and just get the cogs turning in our minds, and just looking at the Baphomet, which is a primordial, type of demonstration that's governed by Saturn, is a clear indication of what that is. You know, and when we go into the planet Saturn, Saturn is definitely in the Commission science is Seker. And what the Seker governs? He governs sound, he governs mantras, he governs yantras. Okay, we could take mantras and yantras back to the Hindu religion. You know, it manipulates creation. You know, like I'm just naming a couple of things so you can get the cogs turning and figure it out for yourself. You know, I'm just throwing you a lifeline here. You know, but Saturn is also a planet of discipline, um, order. You know, to a degree, and uh, Capricorns, like myself. You know, like I can honestly say I like order, I like discipline. You know, Saturn is a masculine planet. And this is more than likely a lot of the reasons why patriarchy religion is geared by using that energy. You know, yeah, it's a lot that we have not really observed, you know, as far as that is concerned. You know, like I had just put a post up on Facebook the other day, like, you know, people got to really question why religion is in the prison system. You know, if you can take certain principles in your life and better yourself, cool beans, but at the same time, when you enter a religion, you need to understand where it derives from, how old is it, you know, and why you're doing it. You know, it has to be more than just a feel good demonstration. It has to be a living demonstration for elevation, you know, and a lot of it is just geared toward manipulation, you know. So we have to definitely look at it from an astronomical standpoint, an astrological standpoint, and ask ourselves, well, why are they using this energy? Why are they using magic to control the masses? You know, they deal with visualization, so they're dealing with Het Haru. You know, like they're dealing with imagery. You know, they're using a lot. You know, in Judaism, they use the Kaaba. You know, like they use the tree of life as well. You know, as we do in Commission science. You know, but if you look at the symbolism, it's everywhere. Nissan has Saturn. Chrysler has Saturn as a logo. Bentley, what is it? The shoes that everybody wears all the time. Um, it's not Gucci. It might be Gucci because they look like little Vistica pieces in that symbol. Toyota, Target, you know, and also when you look at symbolism and the meaning of planet Saturn, it also represents time. It represents chronos or calendar, you know, and you know, like a lot of people relate to it as Father Time. You know, so I'm just throwing out some basic, you know, understandings to this particular energy. And not for you to be afraid or anything like that, but for you to just develop an understanding, you know, go into the older languages. If you are going to dissect the Bible, I would definitely go as far as speaking or translating from the Phoenician language, because people think that they're speaking in Hebrew and they're really speaking in Phoenician. You know, like Hebrew just basically mean those who crossed over. It doesn't mean that it describes a person, a place, or thing. It's, you know, like actually an adjective. So we have to go into like the word elite. You know, the elite comes from Elohim. It comes from El. You know, and you have Christians and Jews that keep the Sabbath, you know, day in the house of El. So like that's where temple comes from, temple. You have oh yeah, the Chanel. Chanel is Saturn logo type of energy too. But then you have to go into, you guys want to definitely look up things like the Lord of the Rings. Hence this is where marriage come from in a Christian standpoint. So it's about, like, when you're obligating to your mate, it's about more than just putting a ring on it. People don't know what combining those rings mean. And this is where you want to develop the understanding of Dark Lordism. Dark Lordism takes you into the black sun worship. It's so much geared around it. Like, after this video, I hope that you guys are able to see the symbolism in what I'm saying. Have a clear understanding of what is going on, because you have people who just basically practice Saturnalia to manipulate the masses, as far as consumerism, as far as the prison system, even the education system. Like, it's a lot going on. And so, I just wanted to provoke a thought for you guys so that you can have a clear understanding of, pause, stop, wait a minute, let me think further into what I'm into. A lot of the truth will come out when you really start to look at comic books, look at certain movies like Lord of the Rings or Harry Potter, or things like that. They're just really esoteric. Like, you really want to get into the esoteric knowledge of things and dissect it to get a better understanding of how you're being manipulated. Because I think we all have some type of divine purpose in this world. And we just have to figure out, like, what that is when it comes to why are these entities ruling over you. Like, what is there to gain from that? And as videos, like, continue on, I'm going to share a lot of that reason, but I'm just going to give it to you as baby food and just let you digest a little bit that I did give you. I hope you guys got a clear understanding of what I was, like, explaining to you guys. And like, share, and subscribe. Definitely check out my website, 7sagemetaphysics.com, where we have our metaphysical store full of different metaphysical items. Definitely check out this new website that Terrain and myself have been bumping for the past few months, Oud of Royal Bloodline. People are raving about the Oud. They love it. It's definitely a powerful oil that's geared towards spiritual enlightenment. And it's very attracting. So if you're trying to attract a mate, you're trying to attract some money, you want to go get you some Oud. So that's all I have for today, you guys, and I hope that you guys enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, definitely email me at 7sagehealing@gmail.com. You always are a beautiful audience. Definitely be on the lookout for our lesson number 3 in Committed Science, and I will see you guys again next time. Peace.